Yeah.
Tuesday.
Don't worry about the day.
No, because...
Hello,
Wednesday.
everybody!
Don't worry about the day. Oh, man.
Well, everybody, welcome to another podcast about life here behind the scenes at Inspiration 9.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, look at you guys. You're all like...
She just cheated.
She cheated.
Yeah, because I had a purchase I wanted to discuss today.
I have a purchase I want to discuss today.
But I knew that I would send Pastor Sherry in a spiral, so I wanted to save it.
So she's kind of looking at like the screen of like the pre-made questions or something.
No, she's looking at my Amazon order history. It's going to annoy you because it's around this time of year that we get into this mode where we decide that we're going to fix our lives and we're going to be organized.
Okay, so that's actually something that I was contemplating talking about because I spent, what day was it? Saturday? From morning till like pretty much nighttime, I literally sat on the couch and just organized my entire life on my iPad. And look at
it. Does look nice.
Did I show
you? Showed me. I think it's too much for me.
It's beautiful.
Well, you almost organized your entire life.
Plus, I organized my email and put in rules so that my emails would automatically be filtered to certain spots so that I didn't have to go through all of the junk mail.
The thousands that are still sitting in there?
The emails that we get that are like, here, let me fix your website, and I've got this great product, and I'm just like, skip.
Yeah, I've got a nice fat folder of spam.
Yeah.
As I come into mine, I block everything.
Do you?
Yeah, so
You
I'm just
too.
like, I block.
You're pretty extreme that way.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm not interested in, seeing this person send me another
Like you're all or
14
nothing?
messages following up as to, hey, did you get my first message about spamming you?
Are you pretty all or nothing on that?
No.
Like, I feel like you're just like...
You're kind of more the
I'm gonna
all or
say-
nothing person.
Yeah, I'm gonna
She's
say.
the all or nothing. I'm all in or not. So, but I was gonna jump back to your original comment. Pastor Sherry did spend quite a bit of time actually trying to organize per se her life on her iPad, and then we're sitting down about 5:00 in the evening, and we're about ready to kind of go over the message prep for Sunday. And one of the things that we've been trying to discuss a little bit more is that there was we normally use our iPads for the message. That was originally what we were doing. And
that's
and then somewhere along the lines, Pastor Sherry started moving away from using her iPad to printed hard copy notes.
Oh my goodness, there's nothing like paper. Paper is everything to me.
Except maybe your like $500 iPad.
Yeah.
Well.
So, anyways, so I told her, I said, like, there's certain things, like, we're generally pretty good because we do most of our messages, we preach together. And, there's ways that we are able to communicate, back and forth. Like when Pastor Sherry gets long-winded, there's certain things that we can do, right? Or ways you move to the front of the podium, to the back of the podium.
Is it like I get long-winded?
It's funny because on Sunday I was having one of my youth work on notes, like on ProPresenter, and you kept going back to 1 Samuel 3, and it was like one of the very first slides, and I said, don't worry about it, she's just jumping back, just stay where you're at.
Okay, yeah.
And then I was watching Pastor Brian from the back, and he was just like, and then me and Larry were talking, and we're like, Pastor Brian will bring it back, don't worry. And he did.
Well, Sunday was one of these days, right, where we, we felt to let the praise and worship go a little bit longer on Sunday. There was just something good with that, with the prayer.
Yeah.
And so the message was a little bit truncated kind of as a result, right? So instead of having, like a 45-minute message, we were like at like 35, which
you technically did.
Then you have the grace, right, to go a little bit over. And
I'm like, I want to get...
But Pastor Sherry was not truncating anything on Sunday.
I want to get the meat of everything out. Like I don't want to hold it back. Like I got something to say.
You guys act like we're never going to be at church ever again.
Hey,
so,
listen.
And this was already like the second
You're right.
extension of the message.
At least nobody's falling asleep in a windowsill and dying.
Fair.
We haven't had that. So I think I'm okay.
It's all good, and we're just teasing you anyways. We enjoy
fun.
hearing your voice.
I always do say though, not to pile it on Pastor Sherry, but Pastor Sherry, when you're on cameras, she's like difficult mode. Like
I am?
Yeah.
I thought you said I was not difficult.
No.
Why?
Because you go 1, 2, slide.
You know my pattern of walking.
And Pastor
like
Brian's difficult.
I got a point. I'm like, this way. Now we got to drive it home, and then we'll go this way, and then let's just drive it back.
But then sometimes you just go boom,
boom, boom, boom.
So I had
just a quick point.
I had Larry on camera on Sunday, and I heard him go, "Whoa, okay, whoa." Like, yeah, I know. Pastor Sherry. No, it's good though. Pastor Brian's tricky.
I'm normally the one who's all over the place. So
he's only difficult
from one end to the other end.
No, Pastor Brian's difficult because two things happen. Pastor Brian is that he goes into the darkness a lot, so it's hard to catch.
Yes.
So that's a lot.
The gap in between the lights.
Yeah.
Stay in the light
and
as
then,
children of the light.
And then he walks forward a lot.
He does.
And
he
then
goes,
when
like you go right into the chairs.
Yeah, which is great.
I was thinking of starting to walk down the aisle.
I know.
Make people really uncomfortable.
But you don't understand. I have to. Well, not me, but our camera operators have to adjust our focus, and it's not super easy to do it on the fly, unless you're very experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever Pastor Brian comes quickly up to the camera, we're like, oh shoot, because it's like a dial on the side, and you have to usually anyway.
Yeah.
So the whole point I was trying to get at a few minutes ago is that we had developed this kind of system, right? To communicate a little bit, and when we have both are utilizing our iPads and not hard notes versus the iPad, right? There's ways if we needed to write additional information, like because we share the same document, like if she wrote something with her Apple Pencil on the notes, it would actually appear in my notes live. Right. So, which is really nice because, she has a train of thought or something, you can write it in and then it just kind of helps the communication. Mm-hmm. It's not something that you need all the time, but it's beneficial when in those really moments. Yeah, like you could write, like if she was using it on Sunday, I could be like, speed it up, or something to that sort.
Do you do that during message?
Yeah, we were when I was using my iPad for messages. We would write back and forth to each other. Or even if we're like, skip this section, or we're like, you know what, just do this one really quickly or something like that. Like we would constantly do that. Yeah. But then I don't know.
You're doing terrible. No,
speed it up. You're talking too much.
Yeah. Be better.
Give me the headlines right now, not the long version, right? Even Sunday was like, it was like a 2-minute section, and it was like, and then there was a story of.
I saw this video this morning, and it was like, I don't know how to tell. I don't say long story short. I say short story long, and I'm like, I feel so like that's me.
Has anyone ever sent you TLDR online? Like when you get text?
TLDR.
Too long, didn't read.
No, because I don't text that long. I'm like one word texting. Yeah. Only when I'm preaching, I'm long-winded, even when we're talking.
Too long, didn't you?
And most of it's not even. And I know we joke around and we just tease about this a little bit, but even when I write the messages, a lot of times when we divvy up, who's doing certain parts, and there's just certain parts which I know Pastor Sherry is going to be passionate about, and so a lot of times I'll just allocate like this passionate level to Pastor Sherry because I know she's going to deliver it with a lot more passion than. The little technical parts, right? Because if you ever hear her do the technical parts, it's always like even like definitions, right? A lot of times we get to the definitions, it's just like
she's like, wait, what does it say? Okay.
Yeah, and it's just so like segmented almost when she does it.
I'll give you a little bit of a hint when you're writing on the actual in Word. You like to write in paragraphs. But I don't read in paragraphs. I read in chunks. Yeah. So if you do I know it's a lot more space, but if you do like a main point or like something quick and it's just one line and then you skip you go to the next line and then you write the next thing. If you do the definition there and then you start the next thing up right underneath it, I will catch those because I'm glancing at it and then it sparks my memory. Oh yeah, we're talking about this.
You know what we should start doing? We should start making your notes available for people on Sundays if they wanted to read your notes after. That would be fun.
The long version of, and because there's so much more generally in the notes than we actually communicate.
It's like the extended edition.
But you got to allow the Spirit of God to be able to communicate to you when you're delivering the message. And that's why we still write in paragraphs and not in these little things, because I don't want you to read all lines when you're doing the delivery of it. We just, but
you know what I did? So when we went through the message together on Saturday night, I usually like to just sit on the couch and kind of normally I have my printed notes and I'm like making my like scribbles and my notes while I'm sitting on the couch. Pastor Brian likes to sit at the table with his laptop open and just kind of like be very like structured with it.
Less relaxed.
I like to be relaxed because I feel like the more relaxed I am, the more I'm catching it inside of what we're talking about, and then it just
explains their marriage and
it really does. But so what I did was it's probably Amazon. What he barked at.
Maybe it's the package that got lost.
But what I did was I screen mirrored my iPad because I was trying to use notes on my iPad instead of hard copy. I screen mirrored it to the TV. And then I kind of lounged on the couch and I just looked up at the TV and I'm just scrolling, just like reading through the notes. And I'm like, I really liked that. I'm going to start doing that
more often.
Yeah.
So to wrap up, this whole distraction.
Yeah, I want to talk about what I purchased.
You probably have something that you want. But what had happened was we've been trying. She started organizing her iPad, and then she's actually decided she wanted to go back to using her iPad for the messages on Sunday. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that she realized, and I don't think she's fixed this yet, but we use OneDrive, which Pastor Sherry does not like OneDrive.
Sarah
she just finds it
like OneDrive either.
Yeah, I think it's just frustrating to them, right? It doesn't work the way it should all the time. And so when she
promises things and does not deliver.
Yeah. So when she goes to open up the document now, instead of it opening up inside of Word like it's supposed to, it always goes back to opening up in the browser, in the web browser. And she's like, I don't want it in the web browser. I want it in Word so then I can write on the document and do whatever.
I can fix that for you.
And she's like, and so we're ready to work on the message. And like 45 minutes later, we're still trying to fix getting this document to open up in Word the way it's supposed to. And of course, you can't find anything online about, how to actually resolve this issue. And everything that you do find, you think you fix, and it's not fixing the issue, right? Yeah. So we're just like, it's got to be an issue, like an end user issue. And so...
Excuse me, I'm pretty sure my job at Inspiration 9 Church is technical support.
Technical support. Right?
I was going to flip the table, but I just said...
we're going to have to call a real IT guy, Shane to fix this issue. If Sarah, Pastor Sarah over here, isn't able to...
I think I know how to fix it. I've fixed that before in the past.
Yeah. All so, right. but that was kind of the delay here of did you actually fix your iPad yet? No, it hasn't. It's not completely organized the whole life.
It's not for lack of trying. It's because OneDrive does not deliver. Promises, but
all right. So, Pastor Sarah,
do you want to know what I purchased?
Apparently, she's purchased.
Took like 15 minutes to get to this point.
You know what I want to know? First of all, is how much did you spend? Can you tell me that?
I can tell you that. Yeah. But I want you to know that I got highlighters and gel pens as well.
Okay.
And earth tones.
Earth tones.
So in total, after shipping and all of that nonsense, which technically was $0 because I have Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
$50.83.
Okay, that's not bad. That's really good.
I got a 12-month daily to monthly 8.5 by 11 desert thistle layout happy planner.
Happy planner.
Do you know? Is that why you're like because you guys have like planners up the wazoo?
All my planners are in the trash because they are all expired. So,
mine have expired too, but are on my bookshelf.
You use your planners for bills and stuff. Like you still use your plan. Like she's got months of like I asked her the other day how much her utilities bill was, and she's like, "Let me pull that up."
just open up
And it
my
was all
planner
in
like
last like 6
January,
months.
February, March, April, May.
So she does use her planner in
Like
defense.
I like to be
the
very-
planner, she generally has 7 or 8 planners, and then it'd be like we're in July now. She'll probably buy another planner before the end of the year. Like, it's just-
100%. August, I'm going to take a week and a half,
Yeah.
and I am going to plan my life just till my heart is content.
You know, we
even
live
though
in
it's not gonna go
2024.
like that,
You know,
but-
most people at this point have what? The digital planners. They,
Oh, I
they
also
use
tried
electronically. We use Trello at times.
No.
I don't know, you got this other one we're using now, but
Listen,
but
Can I
Pastor
just
Sherry,
say-
no,
Google Task Force.
There
let's go
is-
back to paper.
there is something about paper. I love paper.
The thing I like about planners is, especially like now that I have my own place, I know I always talk about this, but I like wake up and no one's there, and then I grab a cup of coffee,
Yes.
and I put music on, and I can just sit and like, you know,
Just have your moment, your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the greatest ever.
Yeah. And all my planners were expired, so
Now,
$32.99. I don't
now
think
you
it's
guys
too
don't,
bad.
and when you guys come to your planners, it's not like they even use planners the same way that the average Joe does, right?
How
not
It's
just-
like a journal.
It's like we're gonna draw on it. We're gonna have graphical this and that. You have
It's probably why I don't ever throw them out, because I've got like anytime I feel like God is speaking to me,
it's just like
I'm writing it on
You know
that
that
day.
dream that God gave me, and it's just like I have it in a. And it's like go grab that journal. I'm like, no, it's not that journal. Go grab it. That's not that journal. And I got how many journals do we have floating around?
Wait,
this
journals
house?
are different than planners though. Like that's a whole nother ballgame.
That's probably true.
Okay,
too,
but
but planners
Pastor
is
Sherry- She's been journaling since she could write, and she's
Forever.
got like years of journals. So that's a whole different ballgame.
and they're just they're journals for different things. Planners for different things.
Yes.
So it's just like,
But that's the
so
thing-
sometimes you guys are wondering why we haven't made an appointment yet to come see you, is because we can't find the actual planner that actually says what our schedule is or something, right? Is
Well,
that-
she keeps her appointments in her phone.
I keep my appointments in my phone.
That's
yes,
different.
I do. Yeah.
Listen, it's the mind of a woman. You need to just you can only know it if you're there. It's like if you know, you know.
So what was the purpose of you buying your planner then?
Just because I wanted.
July.
Straight joy.
Sorry. I'm excited. I'm excited that it's an 8.5 by 11. And for those of you who have purchased happy planners in the
So I
past,
purchased a large one.
yeah, it's a big one. So, but they're fairly pricey. You can get them at
Yeah.
Staples, but they're usually $50 for an 8.5 by 11.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really happy about that. I really liked the design of this one. It's more my aesthetic.
Okay.
And also, I just feel like I'm come to a season where I want to kind of get all my ducks in a row.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So I've
smart.
got like fun appointments booked this week, and I've got like
Mhm.
stuff I'm just working on myself.
We've been talking about getting our ducks in a row for a little while
I
here.
know, but I haven't done
You
anything.
keep adding more ducks.
Yeah, that's not my fault. You guys, your ducks are your ducks.
There's a season and a time to get things into order.
Yeah.
You know what?
Get
Okay,
your
so
ducks in order.
you know that trend where like people go on cruises and then they're like hiding the ducks all over the place?
Yeah.
And so that's what I feel like my life is.
Yeah, we
is
did
that
find those on the last cruise.
we did find some.
Ryan
yeah.
and Sarah have a whole wall at their house.
Yeah, so I feel like that's like my life, is that every time I turn around in somewhere that I'm not expecting it, there's another duck that I have to get in a row.
Yep.
And so
Can I change the subject?
yeah.
Pastor Sherry, I know this is technically your week to host, but if you have something to say, then just say it.
Okay.
That was meant to sound so aggressive.
You go ahead.
Do you have something to say though?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, she's like that duck I haven't got into order yet.
that's a duck I didn't find yet.
Quack, quack.
Okay, go ahead.
We're all really excited for Pastor Brian's turn.
Yeah.
We're gonna get paragraphs in advance.
We're gonna talk about golf.
Politics.
Politics.
Just kidding. Whatever comes up. Okay. We live in Windsor, Ontario, and there's a restaurant on 4315 Seminole Street that I have
Oh yes.
been introduced to.
15
Seminole.
He's never gonna guess it.
It's right down the street from my new house.
Okay, I'll tell you, we had food from there at a wedding that we went to in 2002 that was supposed to be
He's
in
not gonna know.
March, but it ended up being in February.
I recognize the wedding, but I don't recognize the food.
Okay.
Okay, do you want me to say what it is?
Sure.
It's called Just Jeff's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think they
I
specialize
don't
in
know anything
catering.
about
How can
Jeff
you not
Jeffs.
remember from like 20-something years ago.
22 years ago, yeah. Like, how do you know? I've never even heard of a restaurant called Just Jeff's.
Trust me, when
Just
you
Jeff's.
eat, you're going to remember.
I'm going to remember
So-
the food.
Yeah.
This is what I want to talk about, is they have these things called nothings.
Mm-hmm.
They're called nothings. And they're,
Nothings.
you know what they kind of remind me of is when you order the wonton nachos from John Max.
Okay.
They're kind of like the texture of those.
Yeah.
But there's nothing on them, but they're just so delicious.
Mm-hmm.
So much flavor.
Are they deep fried?
They're deep fried. But they're,
Okay.
I'm
We
thinking
ate
it's
them
a
with
wonton pasta. Like, you know, you can get the wontons uncooked. I'm thinking they just fried
Deep-fried
those.
Maybe.
But I don't know what the seasoning is on them. Anyway,
Mhm.
so I had a friend over for dinner on Saturday, and we couldn't decide what to get. So I'm like, I'll just pick up a couple meals from Jeff's,
Mhm.
and then whatever.
Mhm.
And it was like $17, but I got 3 meals out of mine. Like I got pulled pork mac and cheese.
Mm.
Anyway, really good. But the nothings blew my mind. I was eating them here yesterday. I don't know if you saw
I
them.
saw them.
But that's all. I was just like really excited about that because I think this place has been around
Forever.
how long?
For
I
at
don't
least
know.
20 years.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Apparently.
But they're great, and I always see the little van driving around.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, if you live in Windsor and you want to have an exciting culinary moment,
Yeah.
go to Jeff's.
You know,
Just
while
Jeff's.
you're on that topic of
Not
that, there's
sponsored.
certain
No.
restaurants.
You can though. You can sponsor us.
Right, where they're just kind of like known for like that one particular item,
Piccolos.
like Piccolo's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right. So any of you
The
ever
knots.
eaten at Piccolo's?
Mm-hmm.
What do you gotta eat? What do you gotta order when you go to Piccolo's?
Garlic fingers.
You gotta order.
that's what they're called.
Yeah,
Garlic
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 fingers.
fingers.
I've only been there once.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, like anytime you talk to them, they say, "Oh, I'm going to go to Piccolo's." I'm like, you gotta try the garlic fingers,
Yeah.
right? And it's just like, oh, this is, you know, like fresh, twisted, soft dough, and then they like just saturate
Olives,
it with
butter,
butter, garlic, and
Parmesan.
Parmesan
Butter.
cheese, right?
And baby.
And it's just like, so most of the time it's like
Sweet.
you order like this mound
Call
of it,
people.
right? And you're just like saturating like the bread with
If you really think about it, you'll get disgusted by what you're eating.
No.
You're just like, this
That's
is
why we
like
don't think
so
about it, we just
unhealthy for me right now. It's like by the time your meal, so every time you
You
go
need
to
a
order your Piccolo's, half the time, and they give you a large portion for the meal itself. But by the time you actually get to your meal,
I've never eaten my meal there.
you just take it home and you got 2 meals when you go home, right? But you're just like, but the garlic fingers are just great.
I think I normally get panzerotti from there.
Oh yeah, and then you have it for leftovers. Right?
Yeah,
Multiple
for
days.
because it's like
Huge.
this big. It's like bigger than a football.
It's like cheese wheels panzos.
Yeah, those are good too.
Yeah, like what are the restaurants in the city? Like, you know, there's like that steak.
Penalty box.
Yeah.
Only chicken delight.
Okay,
Half
so-
fries, half Greek salad.
So penalty box was when we were having kids. It was like all the rage, and everybody would always talk about like when you go in and you have your baby, you
Yes.
have to order
Absolutely.
penalty box, the
Absolutely.
chicken delight.
Yeah.
And so
If
I
you're
was
gonna
like,
go through
I
the
had
pain
no.
of having a baby, the least you deserve.
That's what
is a
everybody's
chicken
saying,
delight.
and I'm like back then we didn't even eat out ever.
Back then you
because
didn't really care to eat.
I didn't even care to eat, so I'm like, I don't even know what a chicken
Oh.
delight is.
Oh,
I know
Pastor Sherry.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, me.
Like,
So, but I told him, I'm like, when we have the baby, this was for Violet. So like, when we have the baby, like we have to order. Like everybody says, we have to order from there. So I'm like, there must be something special with it. And I remember ordering it and just thinking like, this is nothing special, right?
Wow.
But I hadn't yet got to the point where I like loved food.
Yeah. So that happened actually wasn't it, about a year or so afterwards.
Yeah.
We had started trying to do some. We decided it was important that we actually take a vacation.
Yeah.
You know, and we're like, so we went on vacation, went on a cruise, and it was I think it was that particular cruise. It may have been maybe the year afterwards, but all of a sudden we went on this vacation, and Pastor Sherry all of a sudden just fell in love with food.
It was like I
Right.
tasted food for the first time. Like I don't know if anybody has ever felt like this before, but I know the difference between the two because right now I love food, and since that point, I taste food, I love it. But all the way up till I was in my 20s, I mostly just ate just to survive, which is probably why I was fairly skinny back then, and I put on a few pounds now since that point. But I just ate to live, just whenever my stomach never growled. I didn't ever get hungry. Most of the time I would know that I needed food because I would start to get a little bit shaky. And then I would just eat something, and it was never anything that was like made or anything like that, because it was just like, I didn't taste food. And then all of a sudden one day, and I remember that cruise that we went on, it was like, I got up and I was like, I want a crepe. And I was like, I want a crepe. And I'm like, so we went and got a crepe, and then so we had breakfast, then we had second breakfast.
We were hobbits the whole.
Then we had early lunch, and then we had lunch, and then we had after lunch snack, and then we had late lunch, and then we had afternoon snack, and then we had early dinner, then we had dinner, then we had to snack after dinner, and then we went back for like midnight buffet or something like that, and then we had a crepe to end the night. And
a crepe to end the night.
I don't know if it was quite that many meals in the course of the day, but the idea was that it was like a whole vacation of actual just.
But we took the stairs everywhere on the cruise, so I feel like
when you're on a cruise, it doesn't count.
One of the things that was really interesting back in this season, just we're going to jump in here for a second, was she didn't like food that much, period, right? But one of the things that she really loved was pasta.
Yeah, always. Oh, you don't like pasta?
I did not like pasta. I could not stand. I like the smell of pasta sauce made me want to puke. I was just like, my throat just closed up anytime I would just be near pasta, gross. Didn't matter what type of pasta, what kind of sauce, nothing. I could not.
And there was two quick funny stories about this, right? Is that when we first got married, we were like broke. I think it was like our weekly allowance for food was like $20 a week.
Every other week I spent $50 on groceries.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's like legitimate, and we at that time spent most of our meals eating pasta, right? Because pasta was really cheap and you could buy it, and
we get ragu 2 for 50 cents, I think it was, or two for a buck.
Like that.
Ragu.
Yeah. And so we ate it all the time, and then and at this time she's just like, I can't stand pasta, but she didn't really express herself how much she didn't like pasta until like years later that we hear about it. So one of our first times that we had went out when we weren't dating, but we were hanging out together, right? We went to I think it was called the Marketplace in Toronto.
I've been there. That's yum.
And she's like following me around, and if you know Pastor Sherry,
so it was my 18th birthday. My 18th birthday.
Right, and she didn't.
Infant.
What?
You're an infant.
Yeah, infant.
Yeah, she back then she didn't do very well in communicating to me. Right, she would you know how much she talks now. Back then, she wouldn't really talk very much in front of me, and even better yet, she wouldn't eat in front of me either. And so we went to this place, Marketplace, and I'm like, you get to walk around they have all these different things. So you get like, here's a pasta station, here's different styles of
first
food.
First off, in my defense,
places.
I had never been to a restaurant until that was the first time I'd been to a restaurant on my own. Like, we didn't normally go to restaurants growing up. Okay. So this was my very first experience even going to a restaurant.
Yes. So then she follows me around, right, to where I'm going, and I'm like, here's spaghetti, here's blah, 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 blah. And so she's just like...
Spaghetti.
Yeah. His whole food palette was all pastas and Italian food. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to get the same thing as him. So I'm like, I got a bowl of pasta, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, it was probably like not even like a medium-sized bowl. It wasn't even that big. But I was like, it just looked like this volcano of disgusting, I don't know. It was just like, I couldn't even stomach the smell of it.
Let's just say she didn't eat anything really that night. Right?
Not a thing.
Not a thing. So it was just one of those, I was just like, so I'm like, here she's back with this pasta, which we find it many years later, where she's just like, I couldn't stand pasta. Now she likes spaghetti for the most part, although she's probably making that up too. But she likes her homemade.
She likes how easy it is to make
spaghetti sauce with meat. And now
and the
she'll
right
actually
noodles,
eat it.
and it has to be like the right, the textures matter. And anyways, I'm particular.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was my story
That was a good one.
about her and pasta.
Mm.
You had another. What's next on your agenda?
Well, I thought we could go to the media's portion of the day.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So there's this man named Joseph Harry Fowler Connick Jr.
Is that his name?
Yeah, I just found that out.
Wow.
You're talking about Harry Connick Jr.?
Yeah.
All right.
The one and the only. I'm a little bit of a big fan of his.
Yeah.
He was from the 90s. Hope Floats was like his... Remember that
I forgot
movie?
he was in Hope Floats.
Yeah, he was the love interest.
Yeah.
Great movie. Don't watch it if you don't want to cry. He was in P.S. I Love You. He was
That
in
one
The
made me
Iron
cry
Giant.
so much.
When Harry Met Sally.
Wait, I don't think I saw that.
This whole
Iron
floats
Giant.
with.
Sandra Bullock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to know what I heard about So Sandra Bullock has made a resurgence. She's come
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
And I heard on TikTok someone said, what's the name of that actress from what was it movie? Bird Box? She should be in more movies. She was really good. You're killing me. You're killing me. But anyway, it's called Find Me Falling. It's on Netflix.
This is a new movie?
Yeah.
There was one, so we were going to watch that the other day, but
Yeah.
then we chose, what was the movie? The golf one. We watched the golf one.
The Long
Long
Game?
Yeah.
Is Shia
Wait.
LaBeouf in that one?
No, it's a story about some.
What's the guy's name?
So
It's a very
Dennis
descriptive.
Quaid.
Dennis
Dennis
Quaid.
And it was from like the 1950s.
Dennis
True
Quaid
story.
is here.
It's from the 1950s. It's based on a true story about
Golfing.
golfing.
The
It's
long
kind of
game.
like a racial movie, right? Like it was talking about how, like at that time, Mexicans weren't able to be integrated into society,
Yeah.
and that this Mexican school put together
A golf team.
a group of students.
Oh, it's
golf.
2023. It just
Yeah,
came
Yeah,
out.
it just came up.
Yeah, and then they ended up
True
winning the
story.
state championship that
Yeah.
year. But it was just talking about some of the racial things that went on and all that. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
About JB.
And like a little bit of golf
Yeah.
too, so it was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Okay,
ironic.
well, I gotta say, compared to my score in Rotten Tomatoes, The Long Game did fairly well.
Oh, what was your
So,
score?
do you look at Rotten Tomato critics at all?
A little
Right.
bit. Like if they're like, I find it depends on what it is, right?
Yeah.
So like sometimes I start questioning the movie. Like if it's got terrible reviews,
Yeah.
then I will take that into a little bit of consideration. But sometimes I find that the cleaner movies and stuff
Get
like
terrible
that get
scores.
terrible
They do.
scores.
So that's what I was gonna say.
So it's a little bit of a balance.
Oh,
so it's
Dennis
like
Quaid was a producer.
so like if it's like really bad score, then I start to realize, okay, this is just a B movie.
Okay,
It's
do you
just
wanna
awful.
compare the scores between The Long Game and Find Me Falling?
Okay. Sure.
So just so you know, Find Me Falling is a rom-com, feel good.
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly what the ending is going to be.
Yeah, it's like Hallmark.
Yeah, there was even a scene where I don't want to spoil it, but I even said out loud, oh, this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then it happened, and do you ever like stifle a sob?
Mm-hmm.
That's Ryan doesn't. I was just like, and I literally went like this,
He pretends like that.
I went like, oh,
Yeah.
like, I was like, and I knew it was going to happen.
I've had that happen before.
I can't even think about it. Man. So Find Me Falling is at the audience. I'm going to do the audience score and then the tomato meter.
Okay.
So the tomato meter is 33%.
Oh,
So that's like is that the critic
Oh.
one?
That's the film critic one.
Yeah, the free film.
And then the audience score is 75%. So that makes more sense with me.
Yes.
But let's compare.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is what I pay. And before you compare it, that's more what I pay more attention to.
Me too.
I pay more attention to the audience scores.
You know what
for
I pay
sure
attention to?
Than
Not any of that. I read every detail of every scene.
Wikipedia, baby.
No, I go to Plugged In. And,
Plugged In
no,
doesn't do a lot of movies
they don't.
anymore, though.
they have been. They started again.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
you have to. Yeah. So like here's the thing. How many movies can you completely trust that Sarah recommends to you?
I'm good at recommendations.
Listen,
Because
I've
there's
learned I
sometimes-
never take anybody's word for anything
No,
when
but-
it comes to movies.
But
offense, like
no,
nobody's.
you'll say to me sometimes, can you watch this movie and let me know
Yes.
if it's good to...
Yeah, you know what? Because you know what I look for in a
Yeah.
movie and what I'm absolutely not okay
Yeah.
with, and what I'm what sets me over the edge and stuff like that.
And I'm really good at saying, like, if she says that, I'll watch it and observe. But you know what I've been really, I've found has been even better than Plugged In, is IMDb Parents Guide.
I read that every time.
It's a little tricky to find, but you can Google, like, blah, 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 blah. And then it'll tell you, I do it on my phone.
Oh.
I don't have the app.
I have the app.
But I do that a lot because my parents will do that too. Like they don't want to watch
stamp when you have to fast forward something.
Yeah, no, but it's great. It's really great. So anyway, the long game score. You ready for this?
Yeah, go.
So the tomato meter is 81%, which is the film critic. So it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then the audience score is 95%.
Okay. Yeah.
So pretty good scores. Mm-hmm. Pretty good scores. But I've never even seen this. Where did you guys watch this on the Flicks, the Prime?
Yeah, whatever the TV...
Oh, it's on all of them. Apple TV, Netflix, and Prime.
Whatever the TV hosted.
Whatever program we happen to be on that day, right?
We love it.
Which was funny, we went out golfing on Sunday. We were trying to get...
Not we.
The collective we.
The collective we. There was multiple people. We had a couple groups of people go out together. We've been doing that more on Sundays, some Saturdays, etc. And there was a couple, we were at a different golf course this week, and as the ball got hit, it was bouncing along the cart path. And I just remember there was an old movie with, Kevin Costner called Tin Cup.
Tin Cup, yeah.
Right? And it was like one of these things where they were talking about who could drive the ball farther. And the one guy could hit the ball further, but the other gentleman was just like, I'm just going to hit it along the cart path. And it just kept bouncing on past.
Smart man.
So sometimes you got to know the smart way to be able to
Okay, you know what
something.
I don't get about golf?
Everything is what you told me on the weekends.
Pretty much.
I want to drive around in the cart and read a book. That's what I want to do.
Is that
You
an
actually
option?
were asking,
Wait,
like,
is that an option?
Always. It's called quality time.
I'll be there.
I think
Can't
you
Me
were.
and Pastor Sherry will have our own cart.
Okay, let's do it.
We can borrow Kathy's cart.
Were you asking like a couple like legitimate questions about
I did.
golf on the weekend?
Yeah, like once you hit the ball,
how do you find
not
the ball?
lose your ball?
Yeah, that's what.
Like how do you see where the ball is going? Because I'm like, maybe it's just the fact that like I'm only seeing golf on the TV. I've only been on the golf course once before, and I could not hit the ball. And so I swore off golf from that moment on. I think I was 16 or 17.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, once you hit it, like, can you see that far on where your ball is?
Not me.
Well, there's some people that we golf with which do have a little bit more of a problem finding it afterwards, but their eyesight's also starting to age a little too.
Like, how would you even know how to yell for?
You just say,
Do
oh,
I just-
it's going in the general direction of those people over there.
Do I
should
just-
probably yell.
I
Right?
probably yell every
So,
time because I'm like, I have no idea where
I'm interested in the fact that we use bird names as scoring for golf.
Yeah,
And
like
I
a
just-
birdie, eagle.
Yeah, and I just tried to look it up and quickly skim and read it, and it was not exciting. Basically, it's like, oh, they did an eagle because it's smaller or it's larger than a sparrow, and then an albatross, and then yawn.
Listen, most of the terminologies that I'm using when I'm golfing are more like, I got a bogey, I got a double bogey, I got a triple bogey. You know, I don't use too many of those.
Wait,
like,
is
birds.
bogey where you hit one more than par?
Yes.
Womp.
Or two, you know, like
Or
a
double bogey?
double bogey.
Or triple
bogey.
is like three more. I would be like
An
off the
albatross is
charts. I would be
3
off
under
the
par.
charts.
Yes. I was golfing with
Albatross.
some pretty good people on Sunday, and it was like actually their first time out, and it was funny because they were like just nailing like the ball, like they're good golfers, but the greens we were playing on were just sloped and like rounded, and it was like if you missed it by just like a moment, it was like it was just going to keep rolling, and they'd be like, sometimes it'd be like a par 4 and they or a par 5 and they'd be like on the green in 2, but and then they would still be like triple putting, quadruple putting. Like it was just one of those things that was just like, they called it like, if it's within the 3-foot range, I'm in trouble, and so you just never know what you're going to get on a golf course. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that was
Sounds fun.
that was So what about the movie? Was there a purpose to the Sandra Bullock? I
Sandra
really
wasn't in
enjoy
that movie.
Sandra Bullock movies.
She wasn't in that movie. She was in Hope Floats. But no, there was no purpose of the movie. It was just a Sunday afternoon, and I'm a sitcom watcher, which means that I want my movies to be like sitcom. You know what I mean by that? Like, there's no really big
plot to it,
problem. There's no really big issue.
Entertaining,
but I don't
but it's
like
not boring.
I don't like those Hallmark movies though at all.
No.
But when it comes to like romance, I need it to just be like pretty streamlined.
Is that
like,
because you're only like half watching the movie?
No, it's because my life is always not like understood and realistic. So I just want my movie to be as realistic as possible. And I, when you get these big romance movies where there's this like, I'm leaving, and then he meets you at the airport.
What do they call it? That traumatized, I'm gonna...
Yeah, I don't want that.
Profess my love.
You can't meet someone at an airport gate because you need to buy a ticket to get through security.
Yeah, it doesn't work once.
And have you ever purchased a ticket at the airport?
No.
Because, ouch.
It's crazy. Yeah, you'd be spending a lot. Here's a little secret about my movie watching life.
You need to have your
I'd love to hear this secret. It's something that she has in the background while she's scrolling on her phone.
I will watch the same movie 100 million times, and I will always choose the same movie because there's no stress in it, and I enjoy the movie, and I enjoy it, and I'm not like living on the edge. I do not like suspense.
Do you like movies enough to like a director? Like, do you have that?
To a degree, but not like what you would think. No, it's just like I know certain directors that I'm like, no.
Yeah.
She has a wide range of movies that she really likes too, right?
Yeah.
Her
Red 2.
She really does like Red. Red was one of her favorites.
It's
and
funny.
Yes.
I don't endorse it.
No, it's fairly clean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a Christmas movie.
That was one that
it's a what?
Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Because there's snow and Christmas lights in it, and a snowman.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Christmas movie.
When they come after it.
That can be a conversation for another day. We're probably coming to a point where we need to start summarizing our.
Okay, hold on. I have a theological question for you guys.
Ooh, a theological question.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So Noah and the Ark.
Noah in the Ark.
Yeah.
Water everywhere.
Actually, isn't there another song that's like, the Lord told Noah?
Yeah. Build
Gonna
them
be
an arky. That's kind of a disturbing song.
Is it?
Gonna be a floody, get those animals
out
of the muddy children.
Yeah, almost drove those animals crazy.
It rained and poured for 40
daisies.
Actually, isn't there another line that was like,
this is not
the
song.
I just remember the line of, go for barky children.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Drove those animals crazy.
To build him an arky, build it out of hickory, barky. I did not sing that.
Actually, I don't remember any of it. Hickory. I just remember it was go for barky.
And look at this one. They came in by twosies, elephants and kangaroos.
Yeah.
Children.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
So.
All right. What about the Ark?
What about the Ark? Okay, question. Okay, how many animals do you think went into the Ark?
You gotta Google this.
Okay, wait.
I have no idea how many animals went into it.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me 2 of every species, and then some of them had more than 2.
2 of every species? Question mark.
I feel like I know the question you're going to ask because you were commenting on this the other day.
Yeah?
Yes.
So did you do some research on it?
No. It was not that much of interest to me.
The Bible states that Noah's cargo was limited to land-dwelling animals, in which was the breath of life.
Well, because I don't think fish would have survived on the Ark.
This clearly excludes fish and other sea creatures, and it probably excludes insects and other invertebrates.
Okay.
The question that Pastor Sherry is going to ask
I have the answer right here.
Is while they were on the Ark, which was 6 months or so, 9 months, I can't remember it was a long time they were on the Ark for, right? And was there any breeding, right, and that was taking place?
Think
on
about
the Ark?
how quickly rabbits reproduce. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you think about just rabbits alone, which I'm sure there was rabbits
But do you think that God could have frozen
their eggs?
and Don't do it, guys.
Well, that was kind of the question
Not
that I
on
was
float.
bringing
Not
out.
afloat.
Where we're like,
Not in my house.
were the animals kind of like in a state more of like hibernation, like where they were kind of more
I mean, they would have to be, right? Because
spiritually sleeping, or something.
because the
Or
argument would
was
be we would still like lions.
yeah,
and
like how much
tigers,
meat does
bears.
that's what I asked her. I said, how much meat would a carnivore have required during this
So
year?
that's what brought up this
And-
question is that, if a carnivore was on the ark
Mhm.
and needed to eat meat while they were on the ark, is that like, did they get that from the reproduction cycle of the animals that were on the ark?
I
You know
think.
what I'm
I think
And like, was everyone pregnant when they came onto the ark, or like, it was just.
that would have been a good way to have 2x2.
Oh.
One buy one get one. Do you want to hear the number that they're guesstimating?
For everything?
How many kinds of animals? Recent studies
but that's just
estimate.
kinds.
Yeah, but if you calculate that there's double of those.
Yeah, but that's just at the beginning of.
Yeah, so versus like, what actually arrived on the ark versus what walked off of the ark, and as you said, like was there reproducing that was taking place, and were they using that to feed the carnivores, or was it just now all of a sudden we got like 12
Like,
That would make a lot of sense.
Was the ark bursting at the seams by the time they had to leave the ark?
I don't
And
think so.
therefore was repopulating.
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Do you think they
I don't think
hibernated?
that God would have said to Noah, okay, we're going to build a boat that's just big enough.
I agree
Because
with that.
then we also have a God in Ephesians 3 that says that he wants to do exceedingly abundantly, So I think just based on like my experience with God, I don't know. I feel like he would say, hey, let's build this ark with room for expansion.
Yeah.
But do you want to hear the number?
Yeah, tell me the number.
With our worst case scenario approach to calculating the number of animals on the ark, this would mean that Noah cared for 6,744 animals. And there was only 8 humans on the ark that we know of. Isn't that crazy? This is on the arkencounter.com.
Yeah. Speaking of Ark Encounter, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Think about how so that goes
Church
back
trip.
to just like how do you 8 people feed 6,000 animals for a period of a year.
And it's not like we have much that's written about what went on in the ark.
It's just an interesting scenario, right? As to like were they
Yeah.
all just eating
Like
every day,
logically
or
think about.
was there like a more of like a sleep induced stage that they were in?
Yeah.
I don't know, right? It's just
That's
kind of
interesting.
of a
That's a good
thing,
question.
or do you
Well, because even herbivores, you would have to have enough trees and plants and whatever.
Well, I'm sure that they had a lot of that probably was brought in, but then
What
it's
did
still
Noah
just,
and them?
And they
what
didn't
did
know they didn't know how long they would be in
maybe
the ark.
they ate a lot of rabbit.
Yeah. Let's keep those rabbits in a separate area
Yeah.
for food.
Yeah.
So you just I don't know, right? Like same thing, like clothing and different things. Like what were they eating? It's like
Well, their clothing probably lasts.
Do you think that the ark is still like on Mount Ararat? There's like theories that it's still there.
I've watched a
It's
lot
kind
of
of conspiratorial.
documentaries trying to find the people.
Apparently it's
I
like you
love
can't
documentaries.
you can't
like,
go up there or
Yeah.
it's like protected.
Well,
From what I
it's
heard.
no. Well, they've actually tried searching in quite a few different areas for the ark.
You know what
and-
else is protected? Is the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, that I
By
don't
an
think
angel,
anyone's
though, right?
actually ever going to find the Garden of Eden.
People still try though.
They still try, but there's an angel that's guarding it.
I know.
It's not like there's an angel guarding the old ark. Right?
We should
It's
go
just-
to the Ark Encounter
Yes,
and then we should go to Mount Ararat in Turkey because it still exists. No?
Interesting.
I'm not opposed to that
Just me.
at all.
You have talked about wanting to go to the Ark Encounter. I don't.
You guys have been to
I haven't
Israel, so
thought
this is
it'd
just
be
the
that
next step.
exciting
I also wanna go back to
the
Israel.
Ark Encounter.
It's cold. It's cold in Turkey.
I'm okay with that. It's cold in Canada
Not like Turkey.
right now. But is it always cold in Turkey, or is it like Canada?
I don't know. She's gonna go Google.
Or sometimes
Google that too.
it's cold, sometimes it's hot.
You can tell how much this one here uses her computer all the time.
Yeah.
It's like we're having a conversation.
It's actually not that cold.
I like
in Turkey. Winter means 2 to 6 degrees Celsius. That's not a big deal.
Oh, that's great.
That's fine.
That's like perfect weather.
Well, you guys, it's been a great day. We've had a lot today. We've had gyros and more. We've had busy morning.
Yeah.
I'm giving plasma today.
Oh yeah, you are.
I'm excited. You know, it's about an hour procedure. Did you know that?
Why is this whatever phrase you're giving plasma now instead of just like
They don't
Giving
do
blood.
full blood
Because it's not
donations
full blood.
anymore.
blood?
They
They don't do it
take
anymore.
it out and they take the plasma out and then they put it back in, right?
Also,
No, they don't put it back in.
What do you mean?
I,
They don't do any
registered
blood
to be-
donations anymore.
They just do
No,
plasma.
not in Windsor. They closed the clinic down apparently.
It's just a plasma thing.
Yeah.
Plasma donation.
So they
But
take.
is that only in Windsor, or is this like?
It can't just
I've
be-
never heard of this. Like, I'm sure it's happening, but I don't get blood every day. But now
Yeah.
it's like, no, giving plasma. And I'm like, really? Plasma? That's what they're calling it.
I used to give plasma in Texas when I was in school for money.
Oh.
They don't do
We
that
don't
in
do that in
Canada.
Canada.
No, and I have a job now, so
Yeah,
I'm not
you
a
don't
poor
need to.
Bible student, that Canadian student
Well, I'm
living in the middle of
American, so if I go
nowhere.
across the border and I need,
You want to just go give some
get
plasma?
give some plasma to make up for some of Pastor Sherry's spending, I can.
It's only about $40 a round, but American.
Yeah.
On that note, I'm gonna go buy a happy planner.
How much?
And I've been looking at highlighters, and I've been planning on
to
buying.
go with the other like 400
Well,
that we have around
No,
here.
but I actually just tossed
Oh.
a whole pack of really good quality pens, and I need to
I have a
replace it.
desire to fix that.
Frequent donors can earn up to $1,000 a month
In the U.S.
in the U.S. Because you can give up, I think, every.
Violet's
I
a
don't know.
U.S. citizen. We should tell Violet.
Violet, you want a job? Get over there, start donating,
Violet, need a job. There you go.
drink some water, fatten
Here's
up.
the car. Sending you across the border. Come back with your $50.
She comes back, she's like frail. Oh man, wild. What a turn.
She's got all these like.
She's got his marks on her.
Take it from here. People are like, we're concerned about Violet. We're not.
We're not.
She's doing the Lord's work. All right. I love that.
On that note,
All right, well, Pastor.
All right, we're gonna wrap up then.
Close us off.
Oh, I don't know.
Next week, I believe that Pastor Sherry.
Oh, what are we talking
is
about on
going
Sunday?
Yeah, I
to-
was just gonna say, what's our little what'd you say?
Our
Teaser?
our summary for what's happening this
Summary.
week.
Oh, this is a week you're not gonna want to miss. How's that
Definitely
Make
sound?
sure you say. Are you going to say the service title, or are we going to save that one for the socials?
Well, no, I think the service title, you guys are calling it Disturbed.
Correct.
Like how he specifies you guys are calling it
Yes.
disturbed.
Because what he wanted to call it, we're not.
There was
okay with
a
that.
better name for the title, but it just
You
didn't
could probably
seem to,
say it here.
I just probably don't want to say it in church.
You could probably say it here.
But like
I'll say it. Poop disturber. But we're not doing that.
Yes.
it all came from a morning in my garden.
It all began.
So we won't give you too much tidbits on that, but it is going to be. I think it's just kind of relevant. It goes along with our tree series
Yeah.
that we've been
Oh
talking
yeah.
about,
Tree series.
and so
Should
yeah,
we get
actually,
some,
I'm looking forward to it. It was.
Trees?
Oh.
I think it's going to be a good and a timely kind of message right there. A lot of the messages, seem
It's
to
gonna
just
be
be
a fun,
kind
passionate
of
one.
connecting into things. Even Pastor Brian and Karen Travail are preaching next week and had a particular topic, and then they're
it up.
like, and we've been praying and all that, and she's like, you know what? We feel like we want to go in this direction to kind of tie into this
Yeah.
whole series that we've been doing, and it will be relevant. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
this
love that.
so this one here is called Disturbed.
Disturbed.
Yeah, so
Mm.
if you know some disturbed people, just kind of bring them.
Like, this will be a good week for you to be at church. Service is about you. No, I'm just kidding.
No, so anyways, it'll be good anyways, but that's kind of what we're
It'll be good.
up to this week.
Yep, and we've got the Decided course that's going to be starting
Yeah, next week, right?
soon. We're doing sign-up for it this week, and then it's in 2 weeks, I believe.
Yes, it's gonna be
August.
first week in August. I think it's starting.
Yeah.
Pastor Dave's gonna be teaching that, and
Yeah.
if you're just needing some more information about just salvation and just the basics of that, it's not the whole like long gated Christianity 101
It's a
that we do.
5-week or
It's just a
4-week.
4 or 5 week course.
Yeah.
It just depends on how much he talks about evangelism during that period.
Yeah,
We're
so
doing.
7 weeks. No, just
Yeah.
kidding. Just
There's a
kidding.
lot of
So,
that
anyways,
topic.
yes, if you know some people just could use some more information, even just about
Yeah.
salvation, just bring them on out, and this will be a good class for
Do
them.
we have a
Yeah.
flow night happening anytime soon?
We
Pastor Sherry?
do right after the civic holiday.
Okay.
I don't remember what the date is.
The first week of
The
August.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's been a
first week
while
of
since
August.
we've had
It's been a couple months.
Yeah. So
That's
it's gonna
good.
be it's gonna be a good night. I'm really excited about it.
Mhm.
I love just getting together and praying and just worshiping together. And we do that on Thursday nights anyways.
Yeah.
But to have it open and everybody just kind of coming in,
It's
just
great. It's a great night.
really good. So on that note, we're gonna wrap up, and don't forget, get out to church, come
Get
to
out to
church, come and
church.
see us, and don't forget to light the passion within you.
Have the best day of your life.
That's right.